co-hosts of At the Movies. Thank you, guys. Guests of the Oprah Winfrey Show stay at the all-suite Omni Hotel located in the heart of Chicago's Magnificent Mile. Guests fly our official carrier, American Airlines. Together with American Eagle, American offers daily nonstop services to 20 warm destinations throughout Florida and Mexico. American Airlines, something special to the sun.
Live from Edmonton, Alberta's most watched news, Eyewitness News, with the Eyewitness News team, Evening Edition.
Heartless thieves cause more than $100,000 damage where Good Samaritans work.
To just do this for the sake of destroying stuff, it doesn't make sense.
And Canada at the crossroads. Our Bob Makachuk is on assignment on the streets of Quebec.
We're not better. We're not worse. We're different.
Good evening. Of course, our big story tonight, the civic elections being held right across the province.
In just a few hours, we'll know who our mayor, aldermen, and school trustees will be. Polls are reporting steady voter turnout, and it's expected to get even busier.
Our Graham Neal is at City Hall right now. Graham, any problems so far at the polling stations?
Not so far. Really anything to talk about. I spoke to the city clerk just a short time ago, and she said so far everything's going pretty smoothly.
I've never seen voting this busy.
A steady stream of voters passed through this polling station in Ward 4. Turnout is expected to be very heavy today. With a lot of interest comes a lot of questions.
Good afternoon, City Election Office.
The phone lines at the election office were swamped with last-minute inquiries.
It seems that no matter how we tell people about elections and what we tell them and when we tell them, they always have questions on election day, and that's human nature.
A lot of questions answered, but so far no huge problems to deal with. The biggest so far has been with the voting machines at a few of the polling stations. Some were having trouble accepting the ballots, but Watka says everything's working fine now.
There you go. We've had troubleshooters out all day taking care of them as they arise.
The only complaint we received from voters was about the new ballot.
The one thing that was different was where we used to put an X beside the candidate of your choice, you now draw a line, connecting an arrow with a line.
What do you think of that?
What was wrong with the X?
I just received some statistics on today's voter turnout. It's around 20% up to 25%. That is as of 4 p.m. at the polls. But once again, voter turnout expected to be very heavy in the following 2 hours.
Now, Graham, the polls close at 8 o'clock. Is there a risk of not being able to cast your ballot if the polling station is busy at that time?
Well, no. I guess the rule is if you're inside the doors of the polling station at 8 o'clock, you're allowed to vote. Whether you're actually marking the ballot or not, they'll let you vote.
All right, thanks, Graham. We'll be hearing more from him later on this evening. Now, if Jan Reimer wins her race tonight, she will be the first mayor in Edmonton history to win 3 terms in a row.
CFRN's political affairs specialist Bob Makachuk is at her campaign headquarters. Bob?
Yes, the situation with Reimer is such as that she feels quite confident about the outcome, considering how the polls have been predicting that the votes are going to split between her competitors. She's happy to run what she considers to be a clean campaign. I spoke with her a few hours ago, and here's how she spent the final day.
Mayor Reimer signed in at her neighborhood polling station early this morning. After marking her choices, the ballot went into the system without a hitch.
It's him. Thanks very much.
The mayor left to visit her campaign workers and to officially open a new South Side plant. This neon sign company is expanding in Edmonton after shutting down its Vancouver operation. They chose to bypass Calgary, an irony not lost on Reimer after being criticized as an anti-business mayor.
We've got to quit knocking the city. We've got to stand up for this city because we've got a lot of super things going for us.
You get the okay. Reimer seems confident. This picture could be tomorrow's front page.
And then maybe with your other hand, Jan, give me a thumbs up.
Reimer should be here at about 10 o'clock to deliver her acceptance speech. That, of course, presumes that the vote does go her way, that the vote splits do go her way as well. But so far, we don't quite know about that. And, of course, she also wants to hear the concession speeches from her competitors before she does make anything official here.
Bob. Well, there's no talk of concession speeches tonight from the other major candidates for mayor.
Now, Janice Johnson has been on their trail today and reports live tonight from Bill Smith's headquarters. Janice?
Well, things are a little bit quiet down here right now, Daryl. However, the key all along in this race has been the huge block of undecided voters. Throughout the campaign, people who just had not made up their minds. And that is what has kept Bill Smith, along with all of the other contenders in this race, competitive and optimistic. The candidate who placed second in most polls throughout the campaign believes voter interest for this election is at an all-time high. Bill Smith cautiously predicts he'll win.
Physically, I feel good, but it's been for me, it's been 3 years. And by 9:45 or 8:45 tonight, we'll know the answer.
And your name is?
White.
Lance White will return to the legislature as a Liberal MLA if he is unsuccessful in his chase for the mayor's chair. He's trailed the polls throughout the campaign.
Could have gone a whole lot better, but you'd give it your best shot, and whatever happens, happens.
Operation Get Chris!
John Ramsey calls his decision to fire his image makers a turning point in the campaign. Both Edmonton newspapers have endorsed the 55-year-old businessman.
I've been pleased with all the people who've been working with us. I've been pleased by the response of the public and the response of everybody. Yeah, I'm actually overwhelmed, if you want to know the truth.
And Bill Smith is expected to be arriving here very shortly. We will be keeping a very close eye on this campaign headquarters along with John Ramsey's. As soon as the results start to pour in, Ramsey will be heading over to the Edmonton Inn. Daryl, back to you.
Thanks, Janet. She'll be keeping an eye on both camps. Should be a busy night. The mayor's race has not been without its problems, however.
Eyewitness News has learned John Ramsey's campaign has been plagued with missing and vandalized signs and posters. In some places, Ramsey's signs have been stolen and replaced up to 8 times. It happened again last night. Ramsey campaign workers put up dozens of signs after midnight. By the time the voting stations opened this morning, the signs had already been destroyed.
Right from the beginning. And it's across the city. It's just not 1 or 2 people. It's a group doing it. It's organized.
Officials reported the problem to police last week. So far, police say they're unaware of any major effort to steal or destroy election signs.
There are expected to be many close races tonight, but one decision that may come right down to the wire is whether or not to keep Keeler Road open to vehicle traffic or close it once and for all.
Valerie Oskoski will be following the Keeler Road vote tonight and joins us from the roadway. Valerie?
Leslie and Daryl, the Keeler Road question has been on the minds of many voters for some time now. It's hoped that tonight's referendum will finally give us an answer to whether Keeler Road stays open to vehicle traffic or closes for good.
Do you think the Keeler question will finally be answered?
I think so, because I don't think people want it to go on any longer.
Even if the vote goes against what you want, as long as a decision's made and somebody sticks?
For myself, yeah, I want that decision just to stick.
Yeah.
And those fighting to keep the road open hope voters will back them up this election.
We're confident that Edmontonians will sift through the misinformation put out by the other side and do the right thing on this issue, stick to the true facts of the matter.
Well, I'm hoping that we've been able to present to the people of the city of Edmonton that this is a citywide issue, that it's their $1 million, that it's their park, that it's their neighborhood integrity.
Reporting from Keeler Road, I'm Valerie Oskoski, CFRN Eyewitness News.
Another big election issue, 1 airport or 2 for Edmonton.
Reporter Michelle Jones is covering the airport's plebiscite for us tonight, and she joins us now from the municipal airport. Michelle, the groups on both sides of this issue must be feeling especially nervous tonight. It's been a long fight.
I don't know if you just asked me a question. The 737 just flew right over top of me. As you can tell, we're at the municipal airport. And nervous, tense, and anxious, that describes both sides, the yes and no, just a couple hours before the polls close. Now, the airport issue, no matter which side wins, is riding on a lot of jobs and millions of dollars.
This site over downtown Edmonton may or may not be a scene in Edmonton's future. Voters are deciding today if jets like this 737 will be taking off and landing at the municipal airport. And depending on the vote and who you talk to, the international airport will either be the hub for air traffic in Edmonton or a deserted building within a year. It was back on August 22nd when City Council authorized an airport plebiscite. A yes vote means you support consolidation at the international airport. A no vote means you want both airports to handle Edmonton's air traffic.
This is a tense time for all of us. This is an extremely important decision. We've worked hard at trying to make sure that the right outcome results from today.
This has been one of the more relaxing election days I've been through in a long time, principally because we ran a good campaign. We did the best we could, and with the resources we had. So that's the way it goes. You do the best, and then you wait for the results.
Now, the no side or the Muni supporters will be gathering at the Chateau Louis Motor Inn at 8 o'clock to watch the results. The people on the yes side, or the people who want consolidation at the International, will be gathering at the Convention Center downtown. And myself and the Live Eye crew will be down at both sites bringing you the results after the polls close. Daryl and Leslie, back to you.
Thanks, Michelle. History will be made tonight in Strathcona County. Voters are picking their first chief elected officer.
In the past, a reeve was chosen by council. Now 44,000 eligible voters have a choice of 5 candidates for mayor. They're also voting for fewer councillors. Changes to ward boundaries mean there are 7 to pick this year instead of 10.
Our coverage of Decision 95 begins just as soon as the definitive results start pouring in.
We'll have updates for you starting shortly after 8 when the polls close. Full coverage will begin just before 10 o'clock tonight.
And we'll have a wrap-up of the results on tonight's 11th hour at 11:30.
Other news today. For the second time in as many weeks, a charity has been robbed. As Jennifer Warren reports, people at Catholic Social Services are cleaning up today after their headquarters was broken into and vandalized.
And in here we had a safe, and they've ripped that open. In fact, we had 2 safes that they ripped open.
Barry Quinn came to work at 5:30 this morning after hearing Catholic Social Services had been robbed. He's baffled because there's no sign of forced entry, but he thinks the thieves used this back door to escape with their loot.
Some computers, VCR TV, and there could be other stuff that we haven't figured out yet. That door will probably have to be replaced. A number of doors are going to have to be replaced.
Worse than being robbed is the damage. An $80,000 photocopier was trashed. The looter set off 5 fire extinguishers, 1 inside the machine. Other equipment was just thrown on the floor.
That's $40,000, and then some of these screens here, the monitors, there's a couple of them.
Desks and filing cabinets were ripped open, private files rifled. Workers will spend days doing inventory to see if anything is missing.
That's very important for us, confidentiality.
The bandits got away with about $500 cash. Workers are still tallying up the damage, but figure it will top $100,000.
It's not going to discourage us, but it sets us back, and we've got to, hopefully, it's just a minority of people that would do this type of thing, and it's frustrating.
Staff here say it's their clients who are really hurt by this break-in. Now they have less money to help the people who need it the most. Jennifer Warren, CFRN Eyewitness News.
The federal deadline on healthcare facility fees came and went yesterday. Now the feds are adding up the penalties. Alberta, Nova Scotia, Newfoundland, Manitoba, and Quebec permit facility fees for some procedures, including abortion and eye surgery. But the federal minister warns the time to pay is now through transfer fee cuts.
And we will be withdrawing dollar for dollar any of these fees that are being paid by the patient in these clinics.
And those penalties could start as soon as next month.
Beer drinkers, you're going to have to pay more for your favorite beverage. Labatt and Molson products jumped an average of 30 cents a case today. There hasn't been a wholesale price increase in almost 2 years. Labatt says its ingredient and packaging costs have increased, so the companies had no choice but to pass on that cost to you.
How do you think your customers are going to react?
I'm not looking forward to it. I think they'll be fairly upset because, even a small increase of 5 or 10 cents, they're really mad.
There is still a chance for consumers to find a deal. Some stores plan to get rid of their old stock at the old price before introducing the new stuff.